sad. Take your sadness and just get your sadness, concentrate it into a ball like this, and then because it's time to learn. It's time to learn what's happening in Masters 3. Some people, they get to Masters 3 and they're just like, wow, that's an achievement. Look at how thick this border is. And it's kind of like teal, and it's got a star in it, and a 3 in the corner. I feel like I can do anything. Does this mean I should be a pro gamer now? The answer to that question is, well, maybe. Let's find out. Let's mix it up. Let's see what we have. Dark green. Mix it up, different colors. Let's do this. Never do this. Okay. So, Masters League is a pretty dangerous area on the ladder. We've been through bronze, we've been through platinum, we made our way through diamond, but this is where it gets pretty gnarly. So we can't quite troll super hard. We've got to focus and think about having really crisp edges. Every millisecond that you don't spend your larva when you can is a mistake. So we're just holding down that drone button. I have my drone stuff bound to rapid fire. We talked about that ad nauseum in the last session, so I'm not going to explain it again, because that would make my face hurt. Music is a little bit loud. Tuning it down. There we go. Sweet. So we've got a hatch, and then we're trying to spin that larva. Rallying the drones to the gas in the pool. And then, as for between steps, what I want to be doing is taking a quick check at my mini-map. Hatch gas pool, mini-map, and then rallying the drones in. And make sure my cameras are set up properly. Mini-map, drones, up to 19 supply. I'm pointing this one at the only patch that doesn't have 2 drones on it, and then I'll make a 19 overlord. Let's just rally it to this danger grass here in the center. This overlord's gonna go check the creep and then double back. I do have a larva here, but I'm gonna save it because I don't know if they're cheesing me. So I want to make lings as soon as I can. 2 lings, or sorry, 4 lings, 2 queens. Let's just go up to 6 lings, because I don't see their base. I'm holding down the button for ling speed. Okay, we see lings. There's no base. Let's grab a spine and pull off gas. Because we found out about this kind of late, and I'm going to do a mineral-based response to this cheese. I want my lings to stay on top of these lings, in case there are going to be some banes. I do see an expand, so if I had to guess, this is the 13 gas 12 pool expand build. So I want to get my queens to hold the door. I want to make an overlord. And I can hold position some lings around here. Yep. Let's make 2 more queens. Oh, it does have banes too. Interesting. I do have 2 more queens being made behind this. Let's move this down. Making rings and queens. Okay. See, my micro isn't even perfect, but I have a good setup. And now we basically stabilized. I have queens. I have spine here. Let's rally some lings around. And I stole them to my Mutahaki, so they won't interfere with the army that I use at home. Hold position. Very strong button. A strong button. It's the hold position. Let's get the queen. She's a very important part of this strategy. Let's make all drones. And then let's do the same thing again. You see my lings, they're going around in a side lane, and they're going up toward the opponent. But now, we could move into roach play. We could even go roach queen Nidus or something, if we so desired. This queen is an important part of the strategy. So now I am incredibly far ahead. Let's do a fancy wall-off maneuver. If we wall like this, you see how there are two queens? They share the incoming damage. Or if the opponent attacks in with a bunch of lings, they can only attack each queen with 2 at a time. So that's half the damage, which means you have twice as much time to build up transfuse energy and stuff. How epic is that? It's very hard to see creep tumors with this game color. It looks so cool though. So now, I've reached my saturation goal. I have around 40 workers. That's a good worker count for smashing the opponent with 2 base roaches. So I made a heap of overlords, and now let's make a nice highway. So when the lair is done, these overlords can drop creep, which means I could say, come on girl, and the queens can participate. And in addition to that, this happy little spine crawler can participate too. So let's try that. Let's make another queen. Oops, that's not filled. I'm gonna forego roach speed this time, because I have queens with the push, and those are the limiting factor in terms of movement speed. Okay, let's go. Roaches go, spine go, queens go. Everybody, let's go. Let's make this queen come along. And my +1 range should finish just in time for this attack. That's why it's called a timing attack, because you attack at a time. Okay, so my queens are going to try and transfuse as much as they can. Oops. And then I'm making roaches through the push, but I don't need to look at that. I can just do hatches, larva, roach. And then we could even take a base and get +2 ranged. And we won't even lose a single roach. GG. GG. Word of the day is perseverance. Oops. No roach speed. I have sometimes. Sometimes I get roach speed. Sometimes I don't. That game, it felt like I could just win if I just used that 100 gas for 4 more roaches. So this is the same opponent. Good luck. Good luck, have fun. Camera locations, 13 Overlord, saturating the close mineral patches before the long one. It's not a massive difference, but it is a few more minerals. Because you think about the income of your drones as relative to the time it takes for them to complete a trip to the minerals and back. Think about it. Or not. Do whatever you want. I'm pulling a drone down at 16. 16 hatch is a bit safer than 17 hatch, because a hatchery has more armor when it's complete than it does when it's building. Learn that from Vibe. Huzzah. Watching the mini-map in these moments between doing stuff. I get my swimming pool. Rallying workers into the gas. Watching the mini-map. Do we see lings? Not yet. Do we see overlords? Okay. Those are our first overlords. Doesn't really tell me anything. Are you Bjorn again? Bjorn? Born again. 19 overlord. Let's put this one at one of these high ground platforms between us. So if it comes to tournament, we have a Ling Bane battle. I have vision of that high ground. This overlord's checking for the natural timing, and then it'll watch this ramp area. This overlord's gonna check this area. Double queen, 4 lings. 100 gas, we're gonna take ling speed. Now we're droning. Just racing drones. Racing out the drones. What do we see? There is a base here. Okay. Do we see a queen being born? Yes. Okay. So now the lings want to go scout. Find out what's happening. Let's get a baneling nest. Inject with both queens. And then we'll take a third. Third base and a bane nest. I like having my queens at the upper left corner of my hatch. It makes injecting pretty reliable because they're always at the same spot. I don't have to think about it too much. And in addition to that, I tend to box upper left to bottom right. So it makes that really easy. 4 lings does beat a queen, unassisted. So they're gonna have to pull drones, which is less income, which is nice for me. Could even go around and scout here. There's some lings. Oh, there's another queen. Okay, so I want to see, as I inject, if there's going to be ling speed or not. There's a bane nest and ling speed. Cool. So right now, we're in a position called being ahead in the 3 base stage. Do they have a 3rd base? Okay, there is a 3rd. But they went for an extra queen, which queens are not superb off creep. So I'm making some ling bane and stuff. Let's make a 3rd queen. Send our natural queen to the 3rd. And then now we're droning, just full-on drones. I do want to get my roach worm pretty soon. I'm boxing 2 lings at a time to focus down these banes. We'll pull these back. Oops. Not perfect control, but it's fine. Get a cancel on that. Roach horn and Evo chamber. Inject the 3rd, inject the main. Queen is born at the natural, and she's going to inject too. I just made an overlord. So notice how my lings and banes are on different hotkeys. Helps a lot with unit control. They excel in very different areas, so you don't really want them to be pulled around together. Okay, look at this natural expansion really overflowing with workers there. Let's get range attack. Oh, what's this? 2 banes. I'll take an even trade. Let's get a lair next. Did you know that banes deal bonus damage to buildings? So we just killed a hatch there. You see that? Astounding. Okay, I see a big attack coming. And I did trade out a bunch of stuff, so I'm spending my gas into roaches, my minerals into lings, and I'm gonna add a spine. Thank you for the subscription. Let's make a bane. Just get a little bit of splash. And now I want to phase out lings, so I'm gonna spend my gas into roaches, my minerals into drones. Check my economy by mousing over the supply at 54. When my lair is done, I want to get roach speed. I just drone my third with all my larvae. And then as that overflows with saturation, I'll take gases there. So it overflows, so I take gases, hitting roach speed, making roaches with my gas. So I know that my third is way ahead, which means I'm in no hurry at all. I don't need to do anything. My opponent is on the clock, because in the current game state, the longer I can mine off 3 bases, the further ahead I get. Even if they go muta, I'll be able to make such an absurd number of roaches that they won't be able to shoot them down. You could even take a 4th base. Get some creep over there. So I have 71 workers. It's a good economy. Make sure my saturation is perfect. So all my gases are filled properly. My minerals are saturated perfectly. The details of saturation matter a whole lot once you get into Masters. If you have a base, you might as well saturate it perfectly. Unless you're going for a particular all-in or something. So we see mutas. We don't need to do anything too wild. Whenever the mutas get to our side of the map, we could explode forward. And then the mutas are going to have to chase our roaches. Which is pretty nice. We can make a big round of overlords. And then we could even get a spore here. So the roaches are going. We can grab burrow. Let's get a hydra upgrade. Let's see what the roaches can do. Sun Tzu said, when raiding and plundering be like fire. So these roaches are raiding the enemy base, so they want to spread out. Put pressure on all the locations, not just one. Because mutas get nice splash damage. So now, let's make a big round of hydras. And start to work on a roach hydra remix. That's a ton of mutas as well. We could even get an infestation pit. And we can up the spore count a little bit. And check your worker count as you're making spores, because it does kill workers. If the muta count gets really high, you can even do stuff like bring your queens and add them to the army group. Be pretty good. I'm fine with losing this base. It would be nice to keep it, but I'm gonna have +2. Let's get Hydra speed. Okay. If we want to be fancy, we could even make a few infestors. We'll just make 2. Usually you only want to get pathogen glands if you're gonna make like 6 or more. Let's make some roaches. I'm gonna pull the queens off of my army group here. Okay, we see lings there. These lings have no upgrades. So we can try to attack and expand once we get the overlords out. Let's get Carapace upgrade. The only thing I'm really afraid of is speed banes, but the infestors can potentially fungal those, which is pretty nice. Let's top off with a bunch of roaches now. Roaches, maybe a few more hydras. Oh dear, no. Incorrect. Okay, let's break these. And I'm just gonna put my infestors on follow of my hydras. Okay. And their job is probably going to be to fungal speed veins. The Hydras can very clearly beat the Mutas at this point. We can grab a Wounded Roach, turn it into a Ravager for full HP. Let's try to go for an attack now. I want to make sure my forces stay together. Neuro chokes are good for me, because that limits Banelings being able to surround and stuff. My Carapace upgrade should be finished soon. Yep, there are the speed veins. So fungal, fungal. Sweet. And then we press through. Hydras should be able to do pretty okay against this. We can burrow stuff. But now we're in a similar situation where we need to raid and plunder. Kill the drones. Looks like there's a hive on the way. You can take a hive as well, if only for upgrades. I'm gonna check. I'm still pretty far off of fungal. Pretty much all the drones are dead, which is nice. If I could get another couple fungals on those, that'd be awesome. But I think they're pretty all in at this point. Let's get a couple spores here. And by all in, I mean that they have too much money committed into Muta to make a respectable round of Ultras. Let's get +3 attack. I'm unburrowing my Infestors, because they took away Burrow Fungal. And you can kind of watch the shadow of the Mutas to see where they're going to show up. Continuing to make stuff. Another sick fungal. We could even get the queens in the army a little bit again. I don't have quite enough another fungal yet. Okay, I'll draw on this a little bit. Good game. Appreciate that sub. Hulk, is that how you say it? Yeah, you don't go forward 30 spores by default in ZVZ. I think if you can't rule out mutas, then maybe you could do that if they're on 2 base for a long time. But yeah, if it's just a standard roach game, the spores aren't going to help with too much. Even if they go for burrowed roaches, it doesn't solve the problem for you, it just gives you detection. Bronze to GM Master 3 stream title updated. You would say this person played really well for Master 3? Yeah. Good job. ZVZ is their best matchup by a mile. Sometimes that happens too. Like for a given player, they can have a massive difference in how good they are at the different matchups. So their ZVP right now is like, oof. Their ZVZ is quite good. Okay, Protoss this time. So ZVP has a lot of tricky stuff to worry about. One of them is cannon rushes, and this is one of the best cannon rush maps right now. So we'll go 16 hatch, and second overlord here is going to be on close watch of this space. I'm going to take my gas on this side so it's further away in case they do cannon rush, and then my pool. And then if you want to be extra super safe, you can grab one of your workers and just patrol it right here. Because a lot of times they try to seal off your base with pylons, or seal off that area, and then establish cannons on the inside. And then your drones can't reach it. So, yes, you do sacrifice some lost mining time, but it gives you a lot more to say if they do cannon rush. Personal preference kind of thing. You don't have to do this. But if you're the kind of person who just reaches new heights of fury and rage whenever it happens, then this would be a way to have a more peaceful early game. You can even check around here and then harvest resources from the natural. So we have 20, we'll get our overlord next. Seems like it's not going to be a cannon rush. 20 overlord. This one will watch outside the natural. And then Francisco, the second overlord, will check by the third. Double queen, 4 lings. I've not seen a probe yet, which is kind of odd. Usually they probe scout. I'm gonna pull 2 workers off gas, ling speed, and then go back to droning. Where is this? Okay, this is proxy with zealots. So I want to try to get a spine in a very annoying position, if I can. Let's see what we can do. This is definitely not an ideal situation to be in. Oh me, oh my. I think we may be dead. We do have a lot of workers still. Yep, I think this is our doom. We do have ling speed, but we lost too many workers. So now they can just continue to produce zealots. And there isn't a ton we can do about it. So it was a well-executed proxy. We can respect that. I do want to kill the new zealots if I can. New zealots that are on range. Well done. GG. I did beat a, was it proxy 4-gate zealot earlier today. One thing that could have been better that game was because I had the drone down at the natural, I didn't need my overlord there. That was redundant scouting. You lose to this a lot. Ideally, you get a roach horn instead of ling speed, but I scouted it way too late. I only found out whenever the zealots showed up in my base, which is like, uh-oh. Is there any counter to it? Yes, I beat it earlier today. If you're caught totally by surprise by it, you're going to be in a fairly tough spot. If you're going hatch cast, pulling speed, and pulling off gas. Canceling the queen at the natural and making more spines behind the mineral line of the main would have been better than what I did. For sure. Queens have just too low DPS. Okay, we get the same happy little buddy. Excellent. Masters League is a pretty dangerous league. Gotta respect it. Thanks for the cheer. How do you manage to not rage over this cheese? So this is a really good difference between not experiencing emotion and managing your outward bearing, despite your emotion. I will fully admit that losing to that build makes me feel like a silly goose and makes me upset. So I'm not pleased with how that last game went, though I'm rather excited to be able to face this opponent again. It's okay to be upset. The thing about being upset is to manage your behavior, like I said. Your actions and your words, that's what you have control over. The emotions are more automatic. Automatic responses to situations and stuff. Well, you do. That you have something to say about. Okay. So I want to keep a really sharp eye on this first Overlord as it crosses the map. I haven't seen any proxy gateway shenanigans yet. What you doing? I thought I saw a probe over here. Which it would be very interesting if they went proxy gateway zealot again. See a pylon, but no base. Okay, so I'll get a spine. Yeah, it's zealots again. So this time, we'll make the spines behind the mineral line, and I canceled the queen at the natural. But she was basically useless. Okay. So we're off gas, and we have 2 spines. Now what we're going to do is we're going to disregard the zealots, and we're going to attack. Because lings are terrible against zealots. But lings are great against probes. So I want to get vision and see if this is walled off. And just run right past. I can keep upping my spine count. Okay, it's open. The way is open. Another spine. And if we power this down, then they can't get warp gate research. Okay, there is a recall. But zealots are much slower than lings. Making 2 overlords as well. I'm using hold position. Let's get gas now. And then see if we can put pressure on the proxy gateways. I made too many overlords, whoops. Whoops. Okay, let's try to find them. Find the proxy gates. There's a Stargate. Okay. There they are. I don't know if I'm going to be able to kill that before the units come out. I'll try. Nice. Let's make another queen. That'll help us with the Stargate. And I kind of want to try a Nidus play. Because we have this one base defended really well with Mass Spine. But I don't really have a fantastic way to establish a second base. We see an Oracle. Okay. So I'm gonna get a Lair next. And a Spore. Do we really think that was gonna do something? Okay. Cool. So there's a Chrono Boost on this Twilight. This is a very strange set of decisions. Okay. I can probably take a base behind this. There could also be a hidden base too. I haven't been able to rule that out. Let's get a Creep Tumor. I have enough green energy that I can spare. 25 for sure. Let's make another Queen, because I'm low on Larva. And I do want to see if I can get vision of a second base. There is a second base. Let's get some Queen or Overlords down here to drop some creep. And then if I do want to go for a Nidus play, I want to make sure the Queen with the most energy goes in first, and that my Nidus network is on a hotkey. Okay. So the opponent missed the Revelation on my single Queen that went in. Let's go ahead and put this down. And then let's get the roaches in first. Okay. We'll try for it. Queens went in first. We could even get a Spine or a Spore here too. And this pylon should be pretty crucial for their production. Okay. So now we're establishing a second base, while the opponent is going to be squished back onto one base. Let's get a Spore here, a couple gases. We'd get a Hydro done. Yep, it's almost done. Let's get these back in. We don't really need to push uphill, I feel like. We could, but we can also just benefit by being on two bases while the opponent is on one. And then inject this a bunch. We can peek up here, but I know... Yeah, that's a ton of stuff. I'm fine with just leaving. It's been a pretty successful mission here. That's gonna die. So we'll get range attack. We'll drone this. And then now we need a big set of Overlords. And then I want to check every single base with my wings, because I don't know where they expanded. Let's get Roach Speed. Okay, more Overlords. My economy isn't great, but my opponent's is awful, so that makes me ahead. Let's get a Hydro Speed now. And there's no base, so it seems like they're in a very dire situation. Oops. My queen's on a hotkey. Transfuse. We have a traffic jam here. We'll get out of Logan so we can actually leverage our strength. The Lings are denying mining here. And we win. Yeah, kind of sloppy control there, but... Isn't that a gift, though? When we lose to something, and then the opponent, in their infinite generosity and grace, does it again. So we don't only get to say what we could have done better, we get to do it better the next time, and win. Thank you. Do you think SC2 rage is in a way related to road rage? Because you can't see the other person driving, playing, and you take things personally that were not meant to be taken personally, and you would react differently if you knew them and could see them. Yes. I think you've found a parallel there. When should you start the Hydra production? Once you have your other gases. What is this music? Thank you, Mouse Neotech Prototype. Nice shot, thank you for the Twitch Prime. GG. Driving is neutral though, not a competition. Tell that to Ricky Bobby. If you ain't first, you're last. It's a barcode Zerg. We should be getting a lot more barcodes now that we're in Masters. Because people think that that's something they should do. The more you drive, the more you feel like you're competing with stupid hex around you. Oh, language. Wow. This is a pretty short rush map, so I'm gonna be on guard for the cheese. Need to watch the mini-map. First Overlord is going directly to their natural. Second Overlord is going to a third base location. I'm gonna make a 19 Overlord. Okay, we see the second Overlord at the same time as mine, so I can rule out 12 pool. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a 20 drone. And then rally it down to my natural. And then I'll make a 20 Overlord. It can be a little bit more greedy. 20 Overlord. This one's gonna go outside the natural. Huh? Okay, so this is a 17 pool based on the Lings. Let's get Ling speed. Let's pull this guy to safety. We see. There's the base. Yep, 17 pool. Ooh. I will try to get a Vein Nest here. The micro is quite good. So now my question is, did you 17 pool so you could be aggressive, or to just deal some light harassment while you go for 2 base roach? Those are usually the main options here. So what I want to do is get my Overlord, try for a 3rd, and now I have the flexibility of I can make some lings and strike at my enemy, which there's a Bane nest, so I probably should. We can take a fight whenever our ling numbers are greater. Yep, we're gonna get to have a ling Bane battle here. There's my ling speed. So you notice mine was just a little bit later, because I went hatch first. So I set up a concave on the other side of those rocks. I should be able to drone some. The main thing is I don't want to fall behind in larva. Let's make another Overlord. Oh, I see lings going this way, so I'll try and cut them off. I don't know why there's not a 3rd base. I think they could afford it. I'm gonna send some lings to go try for a special ops mission. Nope. Need to be careful of Banes. I see more lings coming across. I could make more queens too. Let's do that actually. These queens will help me hold the door. There's a ling counter. Looks like they're gonna wall off and try for a 2 base roach strategy. There's a 3rd. Okay. I've made a ton of drones. Let's get a lair, roach point, evo, and then we can try to play this out from a pretty substantial lead. Then you try to attack me again though. Let's take 2 gases as we're overflowing with workers there. We need to get the queens together. I'm just gonna go for it. Let's get range attack. Okay, we'll fill these. Get the lair. There are roaches here already. Is this on purpose? I don't know. But they're dead now. Okay. I have 52 drones. Now we should make roaches, because the opponent's 3rd is not even done yet. Okay, they're gonna attack me. Need to break these. This buys me a little bit of time. I could even keep it open for a moment, and then when the roaches come in, I can collapse them. So these roaches are trapped. Roach speed. Range attack is going. I keep making roaches. Looks like they're getting bored and they're gonna go home. That's good. So I'm moving toward a convergence point. You can call it the Cyril, you can call it what you want to. But he tends to go for +2 range attack, +1 carapace. So as my +1 is finishing, I'm gonna get another Evo. I'm gonna get my gases here. I'm gonna try to shoot this Overlord. +2. And now I'm making all roaches. These lings are trying to harass this. I don't know if I can deny it. Sweet. Good. Awesome. That's a really good trade. Good job, lings. Sorry I had to die for that, but it was worth. Let's get Carapace now. And then now we need to make another big heap of Overlords. Make sure I have one queen at each base. Opponent does have roach speed. Making all roaches. Check my worker count, 60. 60 is a pretty good amount. We had a very aggressive early game, so I don't want to go too far with the workers. Okay, let's have a fight. I want to create a concave, so when they enter, it's a really bad angle for them. You see +1 attack on their roaches. Inject before the fight. Let's see. They're gonna go for it or no? Let's get an Overseer with the army, in case they go for Burrow and Tunnel Claws. Nice. Finished them pretty hard for going in that choke. So now let's use the Crab Claw strategy, where I have one big group, and then I have a dedicated harass group. So this is my big group. I'm going to go over here. This is my harass group. I'm going to go over here. Just makes me a lot harder to deal with if I can divide my forces. And I see my upgrades. They're almost done. I want to wait until they finish, and then there'll be a pretty good time to take the fight. If they have enough to defend my harassment group, I fall back. I don't need to commit to that. But if they make a mistake, then I can go for it and punish them. So these Ravagers have really low HP, so the roaches can bully them. And then we can wait for an opening to get in there. And I want to try to create a concave if I can. Okay, the opponent does have Burrow and Tunnel, but I have a nice setup here. Can be patient. Okay, now we can just go for the throat. Good try, bud. Seemed like a pretty good player. Yeah. Seems like they haven't really settled in their MMR yet. Later, Hound. What's up, LBB14? I'm doing well. Yeah, Masters gets pretty intense. It's getting in the range where I'll be facing some people that if the queue time was long and there weren't a lot of people online, I might face them on my main account anyway. If you get to the extremes of the ladder, either for low bronze or Masters to GM, the likelihood that you'll face someone far from your own MMR is greater. How do you get the colors to work? You push a button. I will show you this button. Did you see it? Did you see that? It's the button. sacred button. Next to the minimap, there are 3 buttons. One of them is a ping. One of them toggles landscape on or off. And this is the other button. Wow. Wow. Bless this button. Now you know. You see the button. Good job. Do you have any other questions? It's another ZVZ. Let's see. Are you going to cheese me? What is your plan? Two queens, 6 lings. We'll play it safe. We'll get ling speed. Okay. See a queen being born there. We can maybe play this one kind of aggressive. So instead of going for a 3rd base at 30, we can get the main nest first. Get our injects. And then get our 3rd, and then make an overlord. Okay. That's 2 lings. Grab this. Do you have a 3rd? Making an overlord. There's no base here. I'm gonna start making lings now. I only have 23 workers. I think maybe we can do 25. Okay. I don't know why they don't have a 3rd base. Maybe it's to be aggressive, maybe it's because they have an Evo. Maybe they're just confused. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna try to spend all my gas into Banes. Make an Overlord. Let's wait just a moment so I can inject before I can focus on my micro. So now I'm focusing on the micro. Oops. I want to box lings 2 at a time to focus these veins down. Oops. Ah, messed up my piece. Fixed. They have a pretty similar setup, but there's no 3rd base. We did get another Overlord out. Is there a 3rd? Let's take a look. There is a 3rd. Fantastic. We just made a round of drones, just to mix it up a little bit. Making more drones. If they went for some different stuff, we may have been able to get more damage in. Oh, I disagree with that choice. You can also click everything onto the Bane and then shift-click 2 lings off of it. Okay, awesome. That's a stage of the game where a lot of times you can just push over another player. It happens to me if I'm playing a ZVZ like that, and I'm against someone like Jon Snow or Panda Bear Me or something. They'll just kill me. Rip. get a Terran this time. Oh my goodness. Australia or Brazil? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Overlord. Okay. Oh, it's Brazil. At your level of play, what do other players have that you're still learning or lacking? They don't stream as much. XD. It's kind of a joke answer, it's also kind of not a joke answer. Because every millisecond that I spend broadcasting and talking about my play for the benefit of viewership, Cyril is practicing for himself, analyzing his own games for himself, and that kind of thing. So he's the ultimate example of purity of practice, where his entire goal is to be the best player in the world, and he succeeded in that goal, which is awesome. Massive respect for him, big fan. I could be a bit more deliberate about the way that I spend and structure my time. I should message Pig again for some coaching, and Juno also said he would be up for some. I just had the 2 conventions and whatnot recently. That's good. Cyril coaching. Lambo, I think, is the highest level coach right now, English speaking. Cyril specifically shouted him out after he won. Okay, so we're getting 4 lings, ling speed, pulling off gas. I'm gonna check here, see whether it's gonna be a marine opening or not. And the job of these lings is to defend against the Reaper. We see factory. So it may be a Hellion opener. Oops. I don't know if this gets muted or not, so I have to be extra careful. I know this does not get muted, so we see 1 marine into a 1-1-1 opening. 1 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport. The safest way to deal with this is layer Neroach Warren. You can do Lingbane Queen, but this is a bronze to GM. Let's play it safe and straightforward. Okay, this queens, play some creep. Go over here, get a drone over to the 3rd. Oy, oy, oy. Another thing that we didn't mention during this series, but when you play StarCraft, there's a thing called server preference, which means that when you're laddering, it will match you with other players on the same server. This no longer applies once you're in Master League. So now that this account is in Master 3, it doesn't matter what server I choose, I can still get Australia or Brazil, even though I don't want to play there. It's something they've said they're aware. They know that a lot of people in the community are rather grumpy about it, but nothing can be done at this moment, so we will embrace the ping. I'm droning my 2 base saturation. I'm gonna fill the gases. Let's make 2 overlords and make a few more lings. And now we could get an overseer for the queens. Make another couple queens. We can make a spore and a spore. Come on. A spore and a spore. Roach speed and then roaches. And if I have all of these ingredients, then I'm relatively safe. And the nice thing about doing a roach opening like this is I only have 2 locations that I really need to defend. My main and my natural. The third base is just a big empty hatchery at this stage. Whereas these bases have lots of drones mining away. Okay, let's pull everything away. It's better to lose mining time than to lose workers. So let's stay safe. And I can still drone during this. Cool. They're doing a good job with this harass. Okay. Let's make a big round of overlords. Let's get a score for this base. 50 workers. Let's go for 70. And now I still don't really know my opponent's composition, whether it's mech or bio. So let's maybe send some lings. They should be able to find out what's going on. And I have a bunch of gas now. Let's get Burrow and Tunnel Claws. There are a few Hellions, but these could be just for bio. We see double bunker with a Banshee. Okay. 2 Banshees. You can get a Hydra Den and an Infestation Pit. Trying to get 70 workers, 65. I have lots of queens with a good amount of energy. Let's make overlords, get +2 ranged attack. And we're really just going Roach Hydra here. I still don't know whether it's mech or bio. The bunkers at the wall is something that doesn't really happen very much, so I'm unsure of what that means. So I'm just gonna make Roach Hydra and max out. A Roach Hydra max out really fast is kind of weak against a player who does Marine Tank in a really optimal way. And in addition to that, they have super fast double upgrades. In this game, I don't think that's the case. Okay, let's see if we can send some roaches in to do some tunnel harass. These queens are going to try and repel the Banshees. Let's get the Hive. Range, or speed for the Hydras, rather. Want the roaches to be centrally located so they can deal with harassment wherever it happens. Cool. So it looks like it is bio. Killing this tank would be good. Cool. Lost a few workers there, which is a bummer. Let's transfer to the 4th. Break these rocks to open up the path. And now we're trying to rush for 200 supply. We should be able to make some Vipers as well. These roaches can harass further. I just have these on hold position. That way they won't chase the Marines. Might be able to get another scan out. Overseer can maybe give detection. I'm making 2 Vipers. These changelings are showing me where the army is. Okay, we do have armor. Go for a 5th base. And I did see that 4th base was just being built on the low ground, but they do have their army over there. I may be able to push up with max out. Let's see. Let's see if we can do it. The tank count is not that high because I've killed a couple of them already. Okay. Vipers are good on energy. Let's get the queens to transfuse this a little bit. We can try to hit a timing. Let's cancel this. And we also want to create a small group that can maybe deal with this, unless I can abduct these. Perfect. Okay. So now let's go. And get this base again. Fill this. Getting this upgrade. Making sure everything is super injected. Okay, I'm just moving with my Roach Hydra, and I'm seeing what my Vipers need to do. I can abduct the tank. But aside from that, my army is just stronger, so I don't need to be fancy about it. I don't know what that means, but okay. I can afford a Lurker Den? Sure, but I don't know. 9N is an attempted F10N? F8 is above my 9 key. Unless it's a Portuguese keyboard. Is it better to stay on 50 drones if they're on 2 base? You can usually get away with 60. 50 drones is if you're a GM player and you're against a Protoss. Yeah, I'm not a pro tournament player in StarCraft, but I am a professional streamer. Which is a really fun gig. I'm very thankful that I get to do this, so appreciate all of you fam for watching and subscribing and that kind of stuff. Let's push the button. Wow. Get a CVZ. Maybe we could try Roach Muta this game. Kind of depends. As we're getting higher and higher, it tends to be better to adjust to what the opponent is doing rather than to necessarily have a script from the beginning. Some people are really good at building scripts for themselves in StarCraft. Like Railgun, I think, is a build order champion, where he makes a bunch of guides and builds that you can follow for well-timed all-ins, optimize attacks and that kind of stuff. There's no single way to move up in skill in StarCraft. So you should find the road that fits your preferred approach. My goal has always been play solid, which is play in a way that is not exploitable to the opponent. Meaning that if they were to see what I was doing, they would say, ah, well, okay. I guess we're moving forward in the macro game together. So I'm trying to do the least punishable moves and be balanced with my aggression, where I have enough to assert myself, but not so much that I'm totally committed. Which does have some of its own downsides. You can sometimes play super greedy at the beginning and get a little bit ahead. But we did see stuff like Rogue versus Serral, where Rogue did some silly greedy openings, and it still wasn't enough for him to win. It just adjusted the early game state a little bit. It's a pretty early couple lanes. There's the hatch timing. Okay, I think it's just a 17 pull. So I don't need a spine. I can just get a Bane Mist. Let's do 2 assassin limbs. Special agents. Get a 30 Overlord. If it was a hatch first, I might have gone for a 30 supply third base. But if they do go for Ling Bane, it's going to kick in earlier than mine. So I'd rather have that supply freed up. Once again, putting the queens at regular spots, we see a Bane Mist. So now we want to find out about third bases. Did you take a third base somewhere? I have a third base. Why do you not have a third base? I can split up my Banes into groups of 2. They trade pretty well that way. Making an Overlord. Okay, so now I can go back to droning. We'll make a few Overlords. I can also go for a Roach Warren. We should have some Banes. Yeah. So I've been droning, which is nice. Roach Warren is going. Let's get the Evo. And I also want to get a queen for this base. I can make some more Lings again. Because they're committing pretty hard to Lings, and there isn't a base yet. Taking my gases. Let's get the lair. Yeah, this might be a good game for Roach Meta. I'm still droning a whole bunch. I am gonna make the normal Roach stuff where I get +1 ranged attack and Roach speed and a bunch of Roaches. The difference is, instead of going for the second Evo and like Burrow and Tunnel Claws and stuff, I can go for a Spire and some Mutas. Can split 2 off. Split 2 of those. And the queen can help. Sweet. Even more Banes. I've just been droning a whole bunch. Superb. Let's get a spine here. Let's fill the gas. Make sure everything is injected. Kick some ass. Let's make a big round of Overlords. Check my worker count, 56. Let's drone some more. A little bit more than that. What do we see? A bunch of Roaches coming. Cool. Roach speed. Fill the gases. Roaches group up. I do see Roaches incoming. I have full 3 base saturation. It's going to be a little bit dicey, but I do have the spawn here, which is nice. Another big round of Overlords. Roaches are extremely supply hungry. Let's get attack for the Spire, so they can mow down the Roaches really fast. I see Carapace on the Roaches. I don't really want to make Mutas right now. I want to make Roaches for a little bit longer, until I can have a pretty big Mutaflock swing out all at once. I guess we could start doing that now. Let's do it. Mutas. We can try for a 4th base as well. Gotta keep an eye on if they try to attack in this area. Let's just close it. Make another big round of overlords. We could even go for an overseer scout to see what their tech is going to be. Fourth base is hotkeyed. Let's move this a little bit. I have 64 workers. Let's drone a bit more, up to 70. I think they just saw my mutas, so let's just go. Cat's out of the bag. Okay, so now we can top up with some roaches. I see the roach army here. There's no roach speed, what? Making roaches. These roaches are on 1. There's the roach speed. I'm gonna transfer. Shift clicking 3 out from the drones. So I can get gases saturated straight away. Let's get another upgrade here. The opponent is quite skilled at making roaches. I know because I'm quite skilled at making roaches. Okay, there are hydras. Did we overpower this space with the mutas? That's great. I think the Hydra count is pretty low, so I should be able to pounce on these. I do want to make sure I have a good angle on the roaches. If I can get the roaches on top of the hydras, that's great. Let's make sure everything is injected. Fix this saturation. And we may be dead, actually. Pull workers away. I do need to get some Ravagers. Give me some more DPS. Roaches are pretty low DPS against this. I did kill a lot of workers at the 4th. But losing that base hurts a lot. Oh yeah. Do I have... Let's send a few roaches over here. Just some light harassment. See if we can kill some of these. We're about to be maxed again. It's gonna be tough beating them though. That many hydras. Let's get an overseer in case it's lurkers. Okay. Trying to distract with those, so I move into an advantageous position with these. I did get Burrow on accident, which means I guess we should probably try to do some harassment. I think Hive is our best bet here. We can try to go for Vipers and +3. This is open, but they could close it really fast. Let's see if I can get a good angle here. Hive. Okay, Carapace 1 is almost done. So I'm retreating and dropping vials. Just kill a bunch of stuff with that, that's nice. Trying to make my low roaches and ravagers. I do need to get some more overseers, so I don't die to the lurkers. Let's do another harassment run by. Split off some roaches. Do another armor upgrade. Why are you not in the army? Okay, so I'm maxed right now. Just sniped the lurker, that's good. I just ate a bunch of vials to the face. That's a good trade for me. Let's pull over here and try for a 5th base. We're making some Vipers, getting +3. So we're trying to click into Hive. I do see more stuff coming this way, so I'm going to attack that way. Grab a 3rd. And I need Hydra now. Roaches are going to be falling off pretty hard now. Let's just send enough on this side so that we can win this, and then go attack on their side. And then these guys are going to attack. Nice. The bios killed it. Okay. Let's transfer to this 5th base. So we can abduct these. Abducting stuff does cause it to unburrow, which is pretty key. Pretty sure that was a GM player. Wow, they played a really good game. No? Wow. Wow. That was good. Nice game. How did you manage to turn that game around? Maneuver. That was pretty much purely a maneuver win. Because the opponent had better upgrades, they had a better direct fighting ground composition, but my army was the one that was going to do better moving around on the map. So I was constantly trying to poke and prod different sides of the map, and also punish them with corrosive bile whenever I would move around. He's a Diamond streamer. He said that he's been in Diamond for 4 months. Yeah, but this is a Bronze to GM series. I'm a GM player. So, yeah, for me it's just a matter of how much time it takes to carve my way through the league, rather than that I need to change my skill level from one to the next. This is NA. Your Terran stuck at Diamond 2? Most people around that period take their third base about 4 minutes late. You can check it in your own games. I don't know exactly when you're taking yours, but around 5 to 6 minutes is when your third should be getting set up. Have I lost a game during this series? Yep. I lost one during this session against a Proxy 4 Gateway Zealot, and I lost to a GM Protoss Smurf, and I actually lost a game in Bronze massing spines against carriers. So I think I've lost 3 games? Would you consider physical exercise a factor in your gaming performance? Yes. If I've exercised before I play better. We're talking about how much skill is required to be a streamer. So this is the person who was Protoss and 4-Gate Zealot rushed me, but now they're Terran. Do you think they would proxy barracks? Ooh, maybe. Why is special so good? Checkmate, atheists. Amen. It sounds like something a cheeser would say. What kind of exercise? A mixture of cardio and weight training. A nice ZVT on Cerulean Fall. He's stream sniping me now? That's fine. Remember, if you're gonna stream snipe, you should subscribe so that the broadcaster can continue to broadcast so you can keep stream sniping. You wouldn't want to stream snipe so much and they're just sad and they lose subs and then they have to retire. So you should subscribe. Keep the dream alive. Oops. I made drones instead of lings. I'm concerned now. Okay, my overlord is going to check what's happening at the top of the ramp. And we see quick 2 Marines. Okay. So I'm going to make instant extra overlord because my first one's going to die. This one's going to go here. So the opponent said they're not going to cheese. Oh, nice. Nice tackle. Good job, Lynx. Well fought. They said they're not going to cheese, but cheese is an interesting term, right? It can mean a lot of different things. They didn't proxy, but they could still go for something like a Marine Heckbat attack with a Medivac, which is something I did when I was off racing a little bit. So my ling speed is done. I'm gonna try to poke up here with the lings. If I can pick off a... Wow, there are no SCVs here? This is... There's an SCV. So 340 Bane Nest is a nice safety time for being able to address Heckbat attacks. Why is there nothing here? Yeah. Okay. This could be a few different things. One of them is a Hellion drop with a Marine Mine kind of thing, or Hellion drive-by with a Marine Mine drop. Could also just be a Marine Hellbat frontal attack. So what I want to do is get some units that are pretty diverse and strong, and then get into a strong neutral stance, where I'm prepared to defend stuff wherever it shows up. And then watch the minimap really closely. So we're injecting bases, getting creep spread. I believe I can work toward upgrade. I want to try to right-click Hellions if I can. I want to watch the minimap during this. I also want to click ahead of where the Hellions want to go, so I can intercept them. Okay, so we stopped that. Let's get 5-minute spores, because I'm pretty blind. Let's get a macro hatch, just because I have the money. And now let's go forward on the map. See if we can't make something happen. Or at least bump the wall and see what's going on. So some stuff on my checklist. I want to get a lair soon. Okay, I see engineering base here. Yep, so it's bio. Let's get another Evo. Let's get a lair. Let's drone. I want to get 70 workers. An overlord and then all drones. Hatches larva drones. Let's put 1 ling at each base location and 1 in the main move out lane. So I get some nice map vision. All drones I just made. Gas. 4th. Gas, gas. Creep, creep. Melee. Gases. We see more Hellions. So it could be a Marine Hellbat kind of composition. I'm gonna make more lings. More Hellbats. More queens, and I need more overlords. Lair is done. Let's get a spire and then Bane speed. We should try to focus the medivac if they can. This is the Hellbat Marauder thing. Try to get the medivac. Medivac. Yeah, the spore killed it. Nice. Yeah, I think my Carapace upgrade is done. Yep, it is. Okay, Bane speed. Spire. Transfer to the 4th. Get a queen here. I did lose quite a few drones, but look at the minimap. Look at it. They don't have a 3rd landed yet. Here I am sitting on 65 workers. Hell yeah. And then queen's popping off. It was a tight hold, but we held with a massive lead. Let's get Overlord speed. There's a Viking there. Let's just send... I split off a small group of links using the steal command to go just confirm or deny the presence of the base there. What's happening there? I'm gonna keep droning. Oh, look, there's no base. What? Why is there no base? Let's get this Overlord drop creep up here. Let's see. Let's make all lings as we're banking up gas for mutas. What's this? Let's get attack upgrade for the Spire. Double check, we have 70 workers. Awesome. Got another big round of Overlords. Now let's make all mutas with the gas. I'm gonna try to work through this gas bank. Are giving me the vision that I want. There's no upgrade on this. This could technically be mech. There were 2 engineering bays, which makes it seem like it's probably not mech, but I can't fully rule it out without scouting the main. So I'm moving toward a power spike here. 2-2 Lingbane Muta is a really, really strong moment in Zerg macro. Just get a bunch of different things that click together. Okay. Let's split our stuff and then attack behind the army. Can you just focus the medivacs? Just demolished. Yeah. That's Lingbane Muta with 70 drones. We could even use this Overseer to contaminate. We'll hit that, sure. You can use hold position too, so the mutas don't aggro onto the Marines. Nice. Cool. Yeah, so that's just army value. Army value problem. I needed more SCVs for sure. You don't have to be good at the game to be successful entertaining streamer. It depends on what you mean by good. League of Legends Bjorn. What's up, Corporate Scandal? How are you doing? People have very different and kind of arbitrary definitions of what good is. Some people say good is a tournament player. Some people say good is Masters, or good is GM, or good is EU GM and NA GM is bad. I've had some people come into chat and say that you're not good unless you're round of 8 GSL Code S or higher, and that round of 16 is bad. So it's a bit subjective, but if you look at the distribution of players, as a Masters streamer, it's going to be pretty awesome to watch for basically anyone below Masters. And it's pretty hard to see the difference between something like Masters 1 and low GM. But the difference between a tournament player and a Masters player should be pretty obvious. Did you get out guard on the first Hellbat push? What does that mean? It snowed and lots of people pretend to not know how to drive in snow. Stream is going well. What do we have? 4.7k MMR? He's talking about streamers in general. Yeah, Namshar is better than me for sure. No doubt there. This was the person who I felt played really well on Dreamcatcher. The game we went Roach Buda. Oh. ZVZ, just leave. But why though? That would make it take a lot longer to do a bronze to GM if we just threw in the towel for one of the matchups. I think one of my biggest strengths as a broadcaster is my love for all of the matchups. I tried from a really early point, probably from Diamond League when I was climbing up, to pick a couple things I appreciated about each one and focus on that appreciation rather than wanting the matchups to be a certain way. Because as players of the game, it's not really our place to decide what ZVP, ZVT, and ZVZ are going to be like. Our job is to make the most of it, to create as many advantages as we can against our opponent. And also, don't forget, it's a video game. You're supposed to have fun. At least maybe a moderate amount. I haven't seen a second Overlord yet, which is moderately concerning. There it is. Okay. Second drone. What's up, Johnny? Johnny 5. Big fan of your stream, dude. We're doing the bronze to GM, and I'm in Masters 3 now. Ooh. We've got another pool first opening. So they opened like this last time. They went pool first, 2 lings to scout into a pretty normal macro game. But I do still want to figure out if that's going to happen again, or if they're going to mix it up. I'm going to go for a third base. One big aspect of becoming a strong macro player is really knowing how to push it for increasing your economy, to really aggressively drone and make those greedy moves that shape the situation in ways that the opponent has to address. So by taking this third base, I've created a looming threat. It's more HP for me and it's more larva over time, and also unlocks another mining location. Let's keep making overlords. I've droned a whole bunch. My main is saturated. I'm gonna change the rally point to the natural. And then now I'm gonna use a few lings to get a good scout of what's happening. I can even get a Evo chamber. Potentially go for a range attack for roaches. 3 queens, defensive choice, I drone. I see a defensive choice, I drone. I have a third base. Making overlords, trying not to be supply block. There is a Bane nest. There's so many defensive signals. Let's get a roach horn, and then 2 gas. Queen injects this base. Range attack. Drones, 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 drones. Mass Ling Bane, defensive Ling Bane, what? Okay, so I do want to make some Banes. I was not expecting a defensive 2 base into Mass Ling Bane, but that's what's happened here. Let's make another clean. Fill these gases. I have my Roach Warren done. Oh. Throw this. I'll get 2 lings on that. If I can. Nice. Okay, I want to make a bunch of roaches now. Get the queen of my 3rd. Need to get my lair too. Awesome. Okay, there's the 3rd for the opponent. Let's get my lair. Roaches are coming out. I'm good on supply still. Nice, that's a good trade. Nice. The Baneling flank. Okay, we have a good bit of roaches. Our attack is winning and we don't have roach speed, so I kind of want to just occupy this base. This is an important base for the opponent. We can just sit here, and I can use this Vespine thingy and the mineral patches to deny some of the surface area to my roaches. Lair is done. I get range attack, roach speed. These overlords drop creep. I spread creep. I inject all my bases. I mass roaches until I run out of gas, and then I mass drones until I run out of minerals. That's macro right there. Okay, now I don't have to do anything because the world is mine. I've denied their 3rd. I have more drones. I have upgrades going. I can just sit happily in my base and just be ahead and hit 200 supply. So the opponent has to answer the question, what is your comeback mechanic? Because I am super ahead right now. Rallying 3 eggs into each of the geysers. I have a gigantic heap of roaches. Let's see if we can send a changeling this way. I'm making more overlords. Roaches are very supply hungry. We see drones being transferred. A few roaches coming out. Let's fill the gas. Check the worker count, 66. Let's get a 4th base. I think the lings are still over here. I have roach speed, so I could try to find them, jump on them maybe. Yeah. Okay. All aboard the roach bus. Here we go. I'm not scared. I know I've been ahead for like 6 minutes, and it's an 8-minute game. Transfer the 4th. No GG? Some people don't have that kind of time. It takes like a second. Sometimes 2, depending on how fast of a typist you are.
Burrito easy.
Okay. What do we get this time? Protoss. Cool. Protoss. People enjoying the stream today? I hope so. I'm having a pretty good time myself. Yeah, some people have like obligations and appointments and have to study for their exam. They can't spend a second to type GG. Mouse up here to check your worker count. Mouse over your supply. Did what last game? I don't think you're supposed to make macros though. Where did that probe go? That's suspicious. What is this? What is this? Okay, we'll get 2 drones on the probe. Here, you return this. Are we doing this? We're doing this. Why is there a cyber core here? Oh, it's a distraction. Okay. This is interesting. Okay. Do you want to see the cannon rush punishment build? I'll show you. I'll show you. So we're getting Ling speed. We're getting Ling speed. This is the Sacred Overlord. You see this Overlord? Sacred. The most famous and sacred of overlords. So we're trying to extract some value from this space. So we're gonna get a queen from it. We're gonna spend the larva from this space first as a top priority. And then as a secondary priority, we're gonna spend the larva in the main base. Let's get a creep tumor just to delay all of this. All of this silliness. When the Overlord finishes there, I'm going to make drones from this space. I get a lair. Let's get a inject on this whenever we have energy. We did lose some supply whenever that died. So this will be Queen Ling Nidus approach to punishing a cannon rushing player. Let's see. Let's see how good their defense is. Because we did salvage a few Lings, an Overlord, and a Queen. Can kill this for free. Sure, thank you. Thank you for the donation. We can get another Overlord moving over there just in case the first one doesn't work out. Let's get this down low so it's harder for them to scout it. I have another Queen being made. Let's make another Overlord. And I want to check and see what's happening here. Shield battery. Cool. This Queen with the most energy is going to be the first one to go into the Nidus. And I can pull off gas a little bit too. Because I'm making almost exclusively mineral units. Alright, boom. Nidus as soon as it's done. Queen with the most energy goes in first, then the other queens, and then the Lings last. We can even bring a few drones just for entertainment purposes. We can set the rally point of the hatch to this worker line. And they're super dead. We even have spines coming up too. We got a Hydra Den if we wanted to. We could take a base if we wanted to as well. Completely destroyed. Utterly annihilated, smashed, trapped in the main base. And just in an overall terrible spot, so they decided to leave. Oh, can I not? I can't advance to the next league because of the season lock. But I would have gotten promoted to Masters 2 from that, I think. So that's how you beat some cannons. Yeah, a lot of people, they get cannon rushed and like, brr. But what you can also do is just destroy them entirely. You can leave league and get promoted. Sweet.